Well, here's a follow-up video I never thought I'd ever do, but last year, I do believe the Metro, yeah, it was the Metro, did a similar article, probably around about the same time last year as well, about people telling us their secret sexual fantasies that they are scared to share with their lovers. It wasn't ones that they were scared to share with their lovers, but it was just the most disappointing list of sexual fantasies I've ever seen. It was so mundane. I was just terribly disappointed with humanity. So I wanted to see a year later if they'd spice things up a bit more, and to see, if we can all read through this and get aroused. That's what this exercise is all about. It's to see if it's, if you're watching this at an appropriate time of day, not whilst you're at work, maybe you can, if every time you get aroused, don't touch yourself. Don't be fucking weird whilst you're watching me. That's bizarre. But, have a shot or something every time you feel a little tingle down below. And we can work out whether Britain is a sexy filth parlour, that I hope it is, or people really have a lack of imagination these days. This is make or break time, is to see if we have the lack of imagination that I realised we had a year ago. Let's see if the nation has improved post-Brexit. Right, let's fucking get on with it. Right. Stigma around more unusual, or rather less talked about kinks, has lessened in recent years, especially with a surge of sex-positive movements in pop culture, as mainstream TV shows and films show different people's tastes in their bedrooms. That can only refer to 50 Shades of Grey. I haven't seen it anywhere else, but anyway. But telling someone what you really want in bed can be scary. No. It's always been great, and understandably so, because you never know how the other person will react. What if they're disgusted by it? Then you just go, well, it's either you do it, or I'm going to get someone else to do it. Okay. All right. And you go, oh, that's pressuring people. I'll go to the cinema and watch the fucking Secret Life of Pets 2. Alright, I've done my bit. A recent survey by Superdrug revealed that 18.4% of people feel uncomfortable asking their lovers to fulfill their sexual fantasies, and 23.6% only feel somewhat comfortable talking about naughty business in the bedroom. What happened to that study they did where apparently men just, like 80% of men were, sexual monsters and just did it anyway? That doesn't fit this data set. What are they talking about? It's all about trust and feeling comfortable enough in your own body and your fantasies to find the courage to open up. But it can be liberating once you finally do. But it does depend on the fantasy though, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? Dress me as a baby and I'm going to soil myself. And who knows, your lover might share your dirty thoughts and even offer to do them with you. Well, as they bloody should. In the name of research, and because we are nosy, we asked 9 people to tell us the sexual fantasies that they are afraid to share with others. Here's what they bravely shared with us. Felicity. Is that your real name, Felicity? I now have French windows, and I would love to be looking out over the river as my partner comes behind me and enters me. I don't think I'd care who jogged or ran past and saw us. That would be quite thrilling. But I've never told anyone about this. I would love to tell everyone, but some people are just less open than others, and I feel like no one would want to know it anyway. Alright, well, that's a fantasy that a lot of people have, but don't actually act out. Acting it out and actually thinking about it are completely separate things. That's nothing, okay? That's just, you've completely wasted my time, Felicity. That's we're here, so I'm going to try and readjust this. This is very unprofessional, sorry. We're here trying to, we're here trying to get aroused. We're thrill seekers. We're being perverts right now, and all you've said to us is just like, okay, Felicity, you've completely let yourself down. You've let me down. In fact, I don't want to hear about your fantasies anymore. You're so beige it hurts. Peter, 25. Now, come on, it's a bloke. It's got to be weird, hasn't it? I have always wanted to have a threesome with 2 women, but I've only mentioned it to a couple of partners for obvious reasons. Now, that is wise. Again, this is, all these kinks. All these daring sexual fantasies. A threesome. My God, the most unimaginative fantasy of all time. And yes, I would recommend don't mention it to certain partners. I got stung like that. I probably mentioned this in the last video, but like, yeah. And then she was like, which one, you know, gearing me up for a threesome, saying which one of my friends do you have a threesome with. I told her which friend it was, and then she started punching me and said, I knew it, I knew you want to have sex with her. It was a trap, bruv. Don't ever fall in for that trap, mate. One was open to the idea and wanted to come up with possible candidates. No, that's the red flag. But after tentatively suggesting one mutual acquaintance who was bi and receiving a fairly hostile response, what did I say? I sensibly decided not to suggest one of her friends, who I secretly did want to be involved in the would-be threesome, which never happened. You are a wise person. Threesomes in a relationship are a fucking bad idea, okay? So, you know, your fantasy's boring, but you're you're thinking right, so that's good. Patricia, 22. You know the scene with the flower in the movie 40 Days and 40 Nights? No, I've seen 40 Days of Night, so that's not the same, is it? Where Josh Hartnett... Isn't Josh Hartnett in 40 Days of Night? Has she got the title of the film wrong? Or is he in both of them? I'm confused now. I'm so confused. Anyway, where Josh Hartnett's character runs a flower across his bedmate's front, and how they're like teasing each other and don't fuck, but she still came. I want that amount of teasing going on. What with a flower? But I don't want to ask someone to do it to me because A, I don't want to have to tell a man what to do. I don't want to be his teacher. And B, it's a very intimate thing and I find it hard to get out of my head and be in my body. Alright, well, that's just the most girly rubbish I've ever heard, so boo. Elise, 31. Come on, dirty 30s, come on. For years, I've wanted to have bondage threesome with another woman. All right, we're getting a bit better now, okay? It's a taboo that I haven't explored. It's not taboo. This is 2020. I haven't explored, and I like the idea of dominating someone alongside my partner and then having them dominate me, mostly by tying me up. All right, I can get on board with this. I've never shared this with my partner in the past, but I have told my current boyfriend about it. When it comes to sex, I've always been very shy, but as I've gotten older, I've found it more fun and liberating. My experiences have also expanded my mind and given me more ideas too. Well, come up with some better ones. Stephen, 27. Come on, Stephen, disappoint me. My sexual fantasy would probably be group sex in a van. This is a grimy motherfucker. Group sex in a van. In a van. Alright, Stephen. In a van with about 5 strangers, I'd say. It took me 2 years to tell my boyfriend about it, but thankfully he's told... you ruined it, Stephen. It's a van full of dudes. I was excited. But thankfully he's totally open to hearing my secret desires, so no worries there. The reason I held back from sharing my fantasy was probably my own insecurities, but I've been very open in our relationship, with many visits to a dark room. Stephen, you're a nasty fuck. The idea of a sex party, says Emma, 29, has always fascinated me. Kind of turned me on. I'd like to give it a go, but I've never been in a relationship secure enough to have this as an option. I'd also not want to get involved with other people rather than just be around it. And if my other half were to get into it and get off with other people, I'd get upset and fear I wasn't good enough. Oh my god. This isn't for you, is it, Emma? Know your limits, bitch. The only people I've ever told are Snapchat hookups to basically turn them on during phone sex. I think my friends will think I'm mad and we don't really talk about sex in detail too often. It'd be weird and they'd look at me differently. Alright, Emma, you're broken. Alright, you're engaging in Snapchat sex and what you've just said. Like, you need to sort your life out, Emma. Alright, before you start thinking. Daniel, 28. I'm pretty open about what I want in bed now, but I used to be scared to tell girls that I wanted to get more girls involved. Dudes, you're so predictable, man. Just stop it. But then once I started telling people about it, I discovered that more often than not, girls find that really hot and want to try it. Well, lucky you, Daniel, because usually we get beaten up for suggesting such thing. Phoebe26. I have a weird fantasy / enjoy when guys not only moan, but moan high-pitched. That's not fantasy, that's just weird. I think I'd get off on making a guy my bitch. Making them less masculine, if that makes any sense. You'd have to go back to masculine man outside of the bedroom, or else I'd dump them, but in the bedroom be weak. I kind of like this girl. I'm liking it. Once I got with a guy who had a foot fetish. I wasn't into that, and it kind of made me feel uncomfortable to start with. But you want him to moan like a little bitch. But then I thought, I can use that to my advantage and try something out. As I was fucking him, God, you're filth, Phoebe. He was enjoying it, but I was on top looking at it thinking, I want to take this up a notch. So I decided to pull my legs around and put my foot in his mouth as I bounced. I've never seen anything like it. This guy's a psycho. I like her. His eyes rolled back to the back of his head. Legs were shaking, moaning like mad. I didn't enjoy my feet in his mouth, but I enjoyed making him moan high-pitched. Win-win situation. Alright, hats off to fucking Phoebe, ladies and gentlemen. Now this is a girl who knows what fucking time it is. Good, Phoebe. Very good. The give and take, fantastic. Alright, that's the freakiest shit we've had. It's just still a bit mediocre. It's a bit odd. Just the moaning bit, but the dominating bit I like. I can get down with that. I like being made a bitch every now and again. See, I'm a very well-balanced person. I like to dominate and be dominated. Do you know what I mean? I'm very adaptable. I'm extremely adaptable. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm just such a well-balanced person. Hallie, 32. I'm 32 years old. Yeah, we already know. And I've never had an orgasm. Me neither. My secret fantasy is to meet a man who cares enough about my pleasures to give me an orgasm. Oh, God, this isn't a secret fantasy. You're just... Oh, God, you incessant tramp. To give me an orgasm, I've faked it plenty of my time. It's plenty of my times. You can't even speak properly either. In a way, it's not really a secret because I have told my former partners about this. But the problem is that they don't believe me. I also really want to have shower sex, but never have. All names have been changed. Oh, you think? Ali, those aren't fantasies. Those are just demands. And shower sex? You haven't had shower sex? Would you not have a shower? As a recap, I mean, compared to the one a year ago, it's improved a touch, but I still am quite disappointed at people's lack of imagination. But then, you know, who else are the Metro going to reach out to, I suppose? So maybe it's not really, maybe it's the Metro's fault rather than the people of Britain. So we'll blame everything on the Metro, which is, out of all the dumpster fires of newspapers, all the shit rags out there, the Metro Online, especially, is absolutely terrible. Let that be a lesson to you. Not to spend about 13 minutes listening to any article read from it if you made it this far. That's the lesson. That's not the lesson. We're just having jokes here, innit? Well, if you've got any fantasies, leave them in the comments. No, leave them to yourself, because either they're going to bore me or you're going to come up with something rank and horrible. Okay? I've had enough.